Hey everybody, happy first day of winter and Christmas is just around the corner. I know a lot of folks are looking forward to that. And for everyone out there who's been wishing me a happy birthday today, I really appreciate that. So what I'm going to do for today is this marks my 5-year workiversary here at Channel 4. So I decided to host a little AMA. So a lot of folks have been sending in questions, so I'm going to go ahead and answer a couple of those here for you now. So the first question, and I do get this one probably most frequently, is why did I want to be a meteorologist? So growing up in Oklahoma, I always loved math and science in school, and I've always had kind of a passion for meteorology, and I actually joined the Marine Corps to be a meteorologist. But in the Marine Corps, it's not what you want to do, it's what they tell you to do. So I ended up being an air traffic controller because they're like, we don't need meteorologists, we need air traffic controllers. And I'll say this, though, that job, being an air traffic controller, prepared me more for to be a meteorologist in Oklahoma City than pretty much anything I could think of, because as an air traffic controller, you have to be able to handle stress, you got to be able to communicate, you have to be able to have a plan A, a plan B, plan C when those other plans don't work out, and that translates perfectly to handling Oklahoma weather and being a meteorologist. So that was really good. And then, whenever I got out of the Marine Corps, I decided to go to college. I went to OU, and I always liked weather, and I never really knew if I would be any good at it. So far, so good. I've been here at Channel 4 for 5 years, so hopefully I can keep that streak going, and I think I'm all right at what I do here with my job. A lot of folks also ask me, where am I from? So, hey, I'm born and bred. I was born in Kingfisher. I grew up here in Oklahoma City. With the exception of the 5 years I was in the Marine Corps, my first year of TV, I've lived in Oklahoma my whole life. I moved to Oklahoma City in the early 90s, and I pretty much lived here ever since. I lived in Kingfisher as a kid. I grew up in Oklahoma City, and now my wife and I live in Moore. And honestly, I wouldn't want to live anywhere else, mainly because I would miss Brahms, right? But yeah, nothing beats Oklahoma, and you sure can't beat our sunrises or our sunsets, that's for sure. Do I have any kids? Nope, my wife and I were enjoying our lives by ourselves, but I will say this, I have lots of nieces and nephews that I love a lot, and I also love to spoil, so they definitely keep me busy. This next question is one of my favorite ones. What's my worst mess up on TV? Now, so far, I haven't had any viral moments as far as any mess ups on live TV. I do make a lot of faces, as you can see right here. This one's with Lacey Lett. But I haven't said anything I shouldn't have, which, being a former Marine, that's the biggest problem I have. That's the toughest part of my job, is not slipping up with language. But yeah, so far, no mess ups. I've said some wrong things. I've dropped a clicker from time to time, but overall, no real big mess ups on live TV. So that was a good question. All right, so this one comes from Richie. He asked me, how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? And I would just say to that, almost as many lows that Rob Lowe could rob if Rob Lowe could rob Lowe's. I think that's how that goes, but a good question. Thanks for that one, Richie. So now we're going to get into the weather portion of this. A lot of folks are asking like seasonal outlooks and stuff like that. So this latest question is, when will we see some snow, or is it going to snow for Christmas here for Oklahoma? And I wish I had better news for you, but so far we are tracking to be the warmest December of all time here for the state of Oklahoma and for Oklahoma City. So if you want to see any snowing on Christmas, you got to go to the Rockies, the Pacific Northwest, or the far northern states there, North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, far northern parts of Wisconsin, Michigan. But yeah, that's going to be about your only shot to see a white Christmas. Here for Oklahoma, we're going to see near record high temperatures for some parts of the state for our Christmas holiday. So yeah, not looking like we're going to see any snowfall anytime soon. And unfortunately, no snowfall here for Christmas. And this is another question that I get a lot frequently, especially recently with the tornado outbreak they had earlier this month in Kentucky and across a lot of states. That was a long track tornado. A lot of folks always ask me, is Tornado Alley moving, or is it shifting mainly to the east? A lot of folks ask me that. And my question to that is a very explicit no. And the reason why I say that is because Oklahoma still has the highest frequency of severe weather and tornadoes across the country. And the reason why I really try to say this explicitly is because I don't want folks to start, not necessarily get their hopes up, but I don't want folks to get this sense of security whenever it comes to our severe weather season. I don't want folks to start to let their guard down whenever we head into our severe weather and our tornado season, because I don't want people to think, well, tornadoes alley is shifting east, we don't have to worry about it no more. That is not the case. We have just seen a couple below average years, but just a couple of years ago, we actually set the record for most tornadoes ever for the state of Oklahoma. So we're not out of the woods just yet. We're still, as you can see right there with this map, we're still right smack bullseye here for Tornado Alley for the state of Oklahoma, especially the Oklahoma City Metro. So do not let your guard down here as we head into springtime. This is one of my favorite questions right here. This one actually comes from Emily Sutton. I wonder why she asked me this one, but who is my favorite coworker? I'm going to say this. My favorite thing, this kind of also goes into what's my favorite thing about my job. The best part of my job is the people I get to work with. And I've had great coworkers from West Texas to Kansas. I've met a lot of great folks. But here for Channel 4, man, I've had so many great coworkers from, our weather team with Mike, with Emily, with John, great folks. You can see right there in some of those pictures, I got to work with Linda Kavanaugh. I mean, how do you beat that? The Ogles are great. Kent and Kevin, they're amazing. Heather Holman's one of my favorite people in the world. Siobhan, I got to work with for a short time, but man, she was one of my favorites. Emily Akins, oh yeah, she's the best. Jessica Bruno, Jacqueline Chappell, who I'm anchoring with right now. I mean, you see Allie Meyer right there. She's a legend, so I really like her. Lacey Lett, I've known her since high school, so she was always one of my favorites. So I can't really narrow it down because it's just too hard. I honestly can't do it because how do you say who's your favorite coworker whenever you got people that you've worked with for over 5 years? So that's tough. And I will say all these people I'm showing you right here, these are just the people on TV. Some of the best people I've also worked with in my career have been people behind the scenes. I've had a lot of great producers. I've had a lot of great behind the scenes folks that have been pretty awesome as well. So far, that's my favorite thing about my job. And that's the hardest question for me to answer is who's my favorite coworker because I've just worked with so many great people. Now, this next question, hey, it's Christmas time and I've been doing this competition on my Facebook page. What's my favorite Christmas movie? And it's always been Home Alone. I think mainly because of the soundtrack, but yeah, Home Alone has always been my favorite Christmas movie. And it's still in the running for best one here for the folks voting on it. So I'm hoping to see if we can keep that going here for us. So we'll see how that goes. So Home Alone is still my favorite Christmas movie. My favorite Christmas song. Now, this is the source of a little bit of controversy. Some folks don't consider the B.C. Clark jingle a song, but I do. And to me, Christmas season doesn't officially start until I hear that B.C. Clark jingle, either seeing the commercial on TV or listening to the advertisement on the radio. Other than that, if I had to pick an actual song, probably White Christmas by the Drifters, but let's be honest, I love B.C. Clark. And if you're from Oklahoma, yeah, especially central Oklahoma, you know what I'm talking about, the B.C. Clark. And then I think this is the last question, because I am a big comic book fan, so folks will always ask me, like, what's my favorite comic book movie? That's hard to do as well. Obviously, Batman is my favorite comic book movie. It's my favorite movie, actually. Now, this came from a couple of years ago, this list I did of my top 10 favorite comic book movies of all time. It has been updated, but I haven't updated this picture. But as of right now, the top 5 is still the same. Batman, Superman, Sin City, Wonder Woman, Deadpool. Those are the 5 best. I'd probably have to put the new Avengers in there, the Endgame. That was really good. That new Spider-Man movie that just came out is pretty good as well. But yeah, Iron Man, Guardians, Dark Knight, those are all awesome movies. So I'm going to have to redo this to see how that goes, but we'll see how that is. But you guys, I really appreciate, all the kind words and everything for either my birthday today or everyone wishing me or congratulating me on my workiversary. It's been 5 years so far here at Channel 4, and it's been a blast, and I can't wait to see what the next 5 years or even more has in store for us. So hope you guys enjoy the first day of winter, and as far as the forecast as we head into Christmas, it's looking like this warm stretch of weather is going to continue. So once again, thank you so much for the birthday wishes, and thank you for the well wishes here for my workiversary.